All right, as you can see, I got plenty of crap, and it's time to start putting stuff away for the winter. But I hate to put stuff away without making it somewhat better. So we're gonna start with this baler, and we're gonna start right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rossi Oliver Man, and we had to dig this out to go bale over there, and it was not without casualty. However, I do regret my breaking that off, because I probably could have welded to that and made her go again. The Deere people want $100 a band, and that is not for me. And the other thing is, the aftermarket ones are smooth, and these originals had these little raised ribs. And I'm strange like that. I kind of want it to be original, so I'm going to order some used ones from a salvage yard, and hopefully they come like that. Otherwise, that was all for naught. But they're only 36 bucks. I just got to call them. Hopefully that still exists. It might not, but that's life. So one thing I decided I was going to do is start replacing chains, because these old chains are pretty loosey-goosey, you see. They have, you know, served their purpose. They're original, more than likely, because I very much doubt that he ever changed them. So I got new ones from the old Deere store there, and so we got to do that thing. Now, the only issue is that some of this stuff, I'm not saying all of it, but some of it, there might be timing issues. Like definitely our knotter shaft, there's timing issues. And what I mean is we don't want the needles to come up at the wrong time and have sadness happen. Likewise, I'm not sure, but I would say that these tucker fingers also need to be somewhat timed so that they aren't in the way of the plunger, you know, when the plunger is the way that it is. So I'm almost wondering if it would be better to, yeah, you see how they come in at the time that the plunger is back, and then they're out of the way by the time the plunger changes direction. And if you don't, you probably get that deal like like what happened to Granddaddy there at some point. So what I'm trying to do here is determine what would be our best way to go about this. If I have the plunger all the way back, well, I think I'm going to do it like that. That's an easy way to visualize the parallelness of that with that. And as long as we get that close, it should be fine. However, another thing is, there it is over there. I can get to the connector link. So I think I'm going to change this one right like this. And we'll start with this one because it will be the simplest of ones to do. Other on our agenda is this guy right here. And I'm not sure how particular that one would have to be as far as timing issue. I guess it kind of does, because, well, it might be important too, because it drives the shaft, which drives all this stuff. And maybe I'm thinking too far into this, and it don't matter, but we're going to do the best we can to make it where we don't have sadness, you know. I'm tired of sadness. Sadness is not for me. I'm over it. It also appears that Granddaddy had this off at one time, as there are many missing bolts in this affair. So perhaps, I don't know. Perhaps instead of doing what I just said we were going to do, I will now change my ways. And I tell you what, these stupid mice, they were not, this was not in there the other day. They have done this since it just sitting in a different spot. And that is just ridiculous. I am not a fan of mice. I've had enough mice. It's just uncalled for. I wonder if that is... I don't know. Is there one back in there? Probably. I don't know. Oh, we're probably going to run out of time today. But today's one of those days where I just don't feel like I've accomplished anything enough. Like when you drop your wrench back in where you can't get to it and now you gotta have sadness. Yeah. But I didn't get done today what I set out to do. It just didn't. Plans changed, you know. I didn't get going soon enough. And it was just one thing after another. And now here we are at the end of the day. I didn't even get this video going as soon as I wanted to. Somebody came in the driveway right at the time when I wanted to do this. Oh, this is gonna be fun. I know now why he didn't put all the bolts back in, because son of a canute. Man, you just can't. You can't see it. So you gotta feel it. I don't think we're gonna get her done. All right, now you should come off of there. There. All right. Hey, Grandpa put a cotter key in there. You know, that's been working. Why should I change it? I really should, but I hate to, because it's been working. Isn't that silly that I don't want to take that nail out and change it to something appropriate? Now, this one, the connector link's probably not going to be where we want it to be, is it? Probably not. So we may wait with this one until we do the other one. And then we'll put that plunger in some position. I don't want to do everything at once. I want to do one at a time so that we can test our theory by rolling it by hand to make sure everything stays in the same relationship. Because if it doesn't, sadness could happen. And I don't want sadness. Now, we need to take this loose here. And of course, it's going to turn. Why wouldn't it? We're having difficulties. We're going to have to get a better wrench set up to get that out of there. We might end up visiting what's in that thing and get that replaced. Ah, mother truckers, friends. This is gonna suck the whole time we're doing this. Preventative maintenance sucks. Just wait till stuff falls off and then do it. This is awful. If it wasn't for that crappy bearing that I'd noticed, I wouldn't even be tricking this all the way. Yeah, I would say it's time to change that. Is it replaceable? Well, it should be. Apparently there's no snap ring or anything that holds that bearing in. It's just pushed in there. And I guess your washers and stuff hold it in. We're going to put it back on today so that we can do this chain and move on. But we're going to have to get that because it's wore out. It's time. Now, we're going to, I mean, look how much slop we have in there. Yeah. we're gonna get that chain off of there. The connector link is over on the side. Oh, guess what? It's gonna fight us. Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't a rusty chain that's never been tampered with? It shouldn't be that rusty because I keep it old. Oh, it almost makes you laugh, don't it? But this is the reason I'm doing this, because I knew that you got a lot of slop and stuff, you know? And I'm hoping to eliminate that. We're not having a great time, though. That's the problem. All right, that should be 60 chain. I tried to get American-made John Deere chain, but turns out that the John Deere chain's made in China, so it really didn't make much difference. And they didn't have any stuff, so for this 60 I got this brand that they had, and they said it came with a half and a connector, but I don't think so. It only comes with a connector. So that's sad, because I'm pretty sure that in the parts book it always says use a half link, unless they have a half link in the bag already attached, but I doubt it. Let's extricate this. Yeah, there ain't no half link about it. All right, so the old chain has a half link, but do we really want to recycle an old half link? I might check my stock and see what I've got on hand. I thought I told them to give me enough of everything, but it don't look like I did. Or the other thing could be that I accidentally dropped them a while ago and didn't get it. So I'll double check. I also need to look in the parts book and count how many links it's supposed to be, because it tells us. All right, luckily I found an offset link in my supply. The parts book says the total chain is 85 links, assemble from 83 riveted links from 10-foot roll, and 1 offset link and 1 coupler link. So 83 will be what we assemble this out of, but I'm gonna double check. So if we count, we talked the other day on that drill about offset links and that. I should have 83 riveted links, and this would make 84, and then the connector link would make 85. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 88, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, connector link's 85. I also noticed something here that's not right. So I don't know what happened there. If somebody re-riveted that chain, but it's probably a good thing we're doing this. So now we need to make sure we cut our new chain in the same fashion. And I'm worried about that because I'll probably screw it up. So yeah, I guess I'll go do that and we'll see what happens. All right, fun times with Cosmoline. I'm totally coated with it again, why wouldn't I be? But I got 83 links, according to their fashion, out of there. And it's supposed to be a total of 85 links. So we will put this half link in and the connector, and then it will be just as original. And then hopefully everything will go our way, you know. Again, the flat-sided thing to keep the pin from spinning, because a spinning pin will be the death of you in many situations. Much like on the hydraul shift and hydropower, when you connect the double chain there from the transmission, you want a long cotter key to go through the one side to keep the pins from spinning, because the spinning pins will kill you. Not you, but it'll make, well, indirectly it'll kill you, because when it happens, you'll want to kill yourself. So, also you will take note that that thing fell, because it would not stay as it was. So we will have to do that thing. Okay, see, we want it there. We want it there. Come on. No. Ooh. Guten tight. Well, that didn't tighten it up like I thought it would. That's awfully still long. I'm worried though that if you take a link out, will that change the timing and it'll hit the plunger? See, what's that gonna do? It gave us a little more adjustment than we had before, but still it's at the end of that slot. I thought we'd have a lot more. I need to get that bearing changed, but the reason a lot of times I like to do this is because they're so dry. And this one may not be too bad, but to some extent you shouldn't be able to flex. You can feel the wear in the chain, you know what I'm saying? And so every so often you need to replace. This chain actually isn't that bad, so I wonder if he did replace it at some point. But I guess the other thing is I didn't replace sprockets, so they are probably also worn too. They always say to replace them in pairs because the new chain will probably wear these out now, but you do what you got to do, you know. That idler's pretty wore though. I might just see about getting the whole shebang new, and then that would, all I got to do is swap out piece for piece. Don't have to mess with the bearing because it is wore. That would probably gain us a little bit too. So that's one out of the way. This one I had to tighten, and you can just tell it's wore out. You can hear the sadness in it. It rattles is what I'm saying. So it needs to be replaced before a bad thing happens. And I got to remember what I did. I guess we need a 3/4 and we need a 9/16. And I got a 9/16 handy, but I bet I didn't grab the 3/4. I got an adjustable, maybe that'll do it. There's actually 4 chains I want to replace. That knotter chain will do last. There's a chain on the pickup, and that's the one that maybe we'll just leave that knotter one alone until she totally self-destructs. I don't know. But we're okay. I'm gonna stop right there. And the reason is, again, I'm using these as a guide. They are straight down, and that'll tell us, you know, that we put this one back. Not that it matters, but your drive line's going in here, driving this gearbox, which drives the plunger, and then it's chained off of that to drive this, but I don't know how precise it is, you know. I just don't know. If they really did the science and figured out that a certain number of links would... That sprocket's pretty wore out. I don't even want to look at that, really. How much you want to bet that don't exist anywhere? Probably not. I'm immediately regretting my decision to do all this. But this chain right here was the reason. Because it is maxed out. Sure. Let's lose it. Let's lose everything. Should probably loosen the idler. I didn't do that yet. But this chain's so wore out, what does it care? Sure. Let's go this way. Get that out of there. All right, this chain's a good example of what I'm talking about. You shouldn't be able to make an arc with a roller chain. So it's pretty well wore out. This one wasn't bad. This one could actually be an emergency spare if you wanted to take the time to preserve it so that it was good when you went back to use it. But this is 50 chain, and so we need to get our box of 50 chain. Okay, sure. Trinesium chain, but it's got the magic gear on it, so sure. And they said it should have a half link in the box, but I don't think so. I've never heard of a chain coming with a half link in the box. I've heard of it coming with the connector link in the box. So it's a good thing I brought it along and didn't just listen to them. Now we need to go back to our old friend, the parts book. We're not going to trust what's here. We're going to look up what's supposed to be so that we don't have a bad meltdown. Chain, 66 links, 65 riveted links, and 1 coupler link. Okay, 65 riveted links and 1 coupler link. That's straightforward. All right. We should have probably did what I said we were going to do, which was take the idler loose. Oh, that is pretty loose. Maybe I forgot to tighten it the other day. Things like that happen, you know. I don't know. Can you see that? I forgot. I should have brought 2 of these so that I could get this wrench. So I could get these double nuts broke loose from each other. There. That's all it took. See, somebody, probably Granddaddy, added some square nuts for spacers, because that old chain must have been loose for him too. Well, I know when it was. It was whenever he changed this sprocket, probably. There's another one that needs probably idler replacement. We can always go back and change some stuff, you know. I just, for today, we're going to put it back so that it's sitting there usable. And we're taking note of other things we find. And then we will, at some point, we will go through and do that thing. Okay, so that one, I need a lot more space because I'm a length short to turn these idlers loose. This Chinesium wrench obviously is not truly the size that it's supposed to be anymore. It's one of those freebie jobs I got at an auction, and I threw it in the baler box so that I had tools in there to fix stuff in case of emergency. But it ain't to be used every day, even though I'm using it. So see what we were doing this whole time? We were trying to get these close enough to put this in there. Normally you would do this on the slack, but it's fine. If you can get it this way, that'll work too. There we go. See, it's going to go that way. So let's put the thing in there like this. Well, I missed it. And I'm gonna miss it again. And you're gonna fall over. And you probably can't hear from the vibration of the jiggling. There. Lovely. All right, so I will tighten this. How much battery do we have left? 22%. You might be able to watch me tighten this enough. And then I think we're going to run it for just a second to make sure what we've done so far hasn't upset it. I think that's probably adequate there. Let's tighten that down against itself. Beautiful. Now, a good smart guy would probably run it with the tractor to make sure that nothing is interfering. Ooh, see, look how close we are to sadness, you know. That makes me wonder if there's some adjustment that I should make to make it a little more not that way. Like, should that be higher than... Should that be a little bit higher than that? I don't think it matters, because I think that's as high as it's going to go. This is nuts. Why am I turning this by hand when we got a 100 horsepower power unit hooked up to it? Let's run it. It's probably in gear and it's going to run me over. Slowly. See how precise it has to be? Get out of the way, go back around so that it's ready each time. Never mind that squawking. It needs a little bit of... I tightened the wear blocks against it and it hasn't found its... All right, you're getting too hot, but the battery's almost dead, which means I've got well over an hour and a half of footage doing this, so that's great. So we'll probably call it here, but we got 2 out of our 4 chains replaced. And also we need to... I'm going to change this tire with the new one I got. And we need to get some pickup bands and then clean it all up and put it away. And then hopefully it will be sitting there ready to go next time. There are some updates I want to make to it, but they were out of stock. I couldn't get them ordered. They make an updated lift rod from an aftermarket company. That would fix Granddaddy's welding job there. The new one's made a lot differently where you won't do that again. It won't break. And then there's also, they make a pickup gauge wheel attachment that bolts in there, and I'd kind of like to have that. I think it would help keep things the way they're supposed to be. I'd love to modify and get one of those off of like a round baler, those kicker wheel things that would help funnel the excess in. I'm gonna have to look at, you know, seeing about where I could acquire one of those and modifying something to make that go, because there's a lot of times when it rolls some extra out and it leaves a trail behind. If you had that thing, it would keep flipping it in, and probably you wouldn't have that problem, but that's something for another day. This chain here is to be replaced. I have it right here. Luckily, they had a partial roll and they couldn't figure out what to do with it, and they said, you can just have it. So it should be enough links to do that. And that's never been, probably never been changed either. This baler has the optional slip clutch, which they didn't all have, so that might make a difference. I don't know. But at any rate, she's coming along. We will get her cleaned up and put her back together. I might clean up that shield and paint the inside of it because it's awful rusty before we put that back on. And yeah, we're just making a little bit of progress all the time. And that's, like I said, what we're after. Every time we use it, if we can make things a little bit better, even if they don't break, if we can fix it anyway or do a little more, then every time it should be in a little bit better shape. So I'm going to call this one here. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Do you enjoy seeing a basic white man in his middle 30s struggling at life? If so, hit that thumbs up and leave us a comment, because all of that stuff is supposed to help us out and grow the channel, and we can keep making more stuff like what you just saw. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.